Welcome back to Mullen Lave Wargaming. We're playing War in the Pacific Admirals Edition, doing a play-by-email campaign playing as Japan in Scenario 1. We are now setting up the turn for Christmas Day 1941. Left off with a turn where there was quite a bit of land combat in China. We had a little bit of a disappointment in that there had been a task force carrier Division 2 was trying to track down, but it failed to do so. Also have bogeys around Pearl Harbor that we took some shots at, which included the cruiser Helena, but we missed them. And then we generally had a low level of air and naval attrition for the turn, so it was really enemy army losses that were carrying us for the day. Today we're looking to get some more fireworks in China, basically. And then Malaya and the Philippines were mostly just moving around, but I guess we don't need to get ahead of ourselves. So in China, the main action here is going to be in and around Chusien. I was caught a little off guard. I didn't realize that they controlled this hex side right here between Chusien and this other space where the battle is. So that means the enemy's free to move units back and forth between here, and they did just that. Even though we had occupied Chusien 2 turns ago and evicted the units in the direction of Wenchao, they've got soldiers there again, which actually works out just fine by me because it means they divided their forces even more. So we're going to go ahead and attack. These guys have, they've had a break, so they're ready to go. And then over here in this hex, these guys are going to attack the guys that are left. 38,000 troops, which seems substantial, but only 108 guns. We've got 189 guns and 10,000 troops. So it looks to me like we have the stronger force in terms of infantry and artillery. Once again, a lot of these guys may be support units. And in any case, Chinese army really can't stand against the Japanese army man-to-man. So if it looks about even on paper, the advantage goes to me. So in the Kaifeng area, we're still waiting to get a concentration of forces across. So we do have 1 division here, another division there, a 3rd division over here, and then we got, more coming up. So at least 2 more divisions on the way. What I don't want to do is get too tempted by spaces like this. Like, okay, yeah, there's 2 enemy units there. This division with artillery support should easily be enough to kill them, right? Even if these guys were to join them. More than enough to kill them, right? Well, yeah, but then these 18 units might just walk right over and reinforce them, and I might end up with more than I can handle. So for the time being, I want to concentrate my forces first, and then I'll hit Nanyang. So that's why I'm kind of just holding off over here. On the north to Sian, the road to Sian, very little fatigue and disruption here, so we are continuing our attack. We had, plenty of enemy casualties last turn, so we're just going to keep that up. And then we've got more units coming down the pipeline to put some more wind in the sails of this little push here. Malaya Theater, with Kuching having reached airport size 4, there's less need for aviation construction here. We already had 1 ship depart with airfield construction units bound for the Solomons. Also going to start moving more stuff down here. The next unit to move is actually going to be a naval construction unit, and it's going to head over to Brunei, so it can get that port bigger than size 3. because this is about to become an active tanker facility. Tankers have been ordered to depart Cameron Bay, 3 medium tankers with 2 destroyers escorting, and that's going to be my first tanker run outside of the Japanese home islands. I'm also moving a little bit more aviation support over to Sinkawang. For OPSEC, I don't think I'm going to talk about that much more. All I'm going to say is I've looked at some ranges and looked at some plans, and Sinkawang's going to factor into it in the near future. Backing up a little bit to the Malayan Peninsula, this looks like a paper tiger coming down. We bombed these guys last turn, and 2 of these 3 units are base forces. And you can see just 2 guns and 3 AFVs reported with them. 1,960 troops. This is basically no one. I'm going to keep bombing them for now because my bombers really aren't accomplishing much at Singapore anyways, so they might as well. But yeah, I don't think these guys are going to be a threat to these 20,000 troops I have waiting in Johor Bahru for reinforcements. In other news, we have a second armored unit that's arrived in Kuala Lumpur. So they're going to hold down the fort for a little while, freeing up the tanks to move out. And as you can see, there's a whole lot more right behind. And you know, as they keep moving in, we're gonna keep having opportunities to move down to Malacca. The rail line between Kota Baru and Temulo is about to get cleared out by these 2 regiments, so hopefully that's going to happen this turn. Imperial Guards have reached Georgetown, so now they just need to reach Taiping, and then I'll probably have them pack up so they can rail all the way down to, I guess, Malacca. It should be, by the time they're done packing, Malacca should be in our hands. Would be nice to go all the way to Johor Bahru, but I don't think we'll have that fully consolidated yet. One of the detachments here at Kuching, I've transitioned them from Nels to Betties, so they'll be coming online soon. The Nels here at Kuching are probably going to be a priority for a future upgrade. And one nice thing about doing the detachment first is it means that I can, when I'm ready to transition the other group, I can do it without completely losing coverage. So south of Java, we lost track of that enemy convoy. It's not these guys, this is just one ship. Reportedly just one ship. So the plan for this turn is to go ahead and take station off Surabaya again. I'm just going to sweep this turn. Being a little conservative because I don't know how strong the enemy air forces that are going to resist are going to be. So we'll just find out. And if it turns out it's a lot, then I don't have to hit them with an airstrike again. If it turns out they're kind of crappy, then I'll hit them with a full power airstrike, and they'll have less fighters defending on day 2 than they did on day 1. So should get some more damage that way. That said, fuel status of Division 2 is getting a little low. So I think those 2 days, that's going to be it. And after that, it's going to be time to head back. I am hoping that I get a little bit of a flushing effect, that hitting Surabaya or approaching Surabaya is going to cause whatever ships that are here to scatter and right into the waiting arms of these Nels. I've also moved Nels over to Ambon. 21st Air Flotilla is unloading right now, so they should be ready to go during the main turn. I've also moved zeros over here. These zeros are actually part of the air flotilla that's based out of Truk or Rabaul right now, and they will go there eventually, but for now we're going to have them assigned out of their district, at least until, say, like the Kauai detachment over here is able to bump up to zeros. So we have all the... Where are they? We have all the ships we need to transport the entire 4th Division. So they're getting loaded up. You'll notice I've included 3 minesweepers in this task force. So the RO-60's sacrifice will not go in vain. We've been notified of the presence of a minefield at Port Moresby, and we will take necessary precautions to protect the amphibious forces. COG is going to be ready in 2 days. Given that we're still loading the amphibious forces for Port Moresby, I'm just going to have the Kaga rejoin the Kido Butai. I've got, I think, 4 destroyers plus the 3 destroyers with the is it the Hio? No, that's not right. Why can't I remember the name of my carriers? With the Tayo. So I think we'll go ahead and just add the Akagi to this group when it's ready. Have these guys escort the Akagi to the main KB, and just have the KB reform that way. And then the Tayo and its 3 destroyers can resume the Claude upgrade sequence. For the time being, we only have 6 zeros, and the fighter wings aboard the baby KB are short planes at the moment. So I'm not too keen on transporting squadrons back to Japan to transition while my carriers can't even be fully outfitted. Last stop for now is going to be Pearl Harbor. So this task force that apparently includes the Helena, however we want to pronounce it, it's apparently pretty big, and might even include a battleship. If it includes a battleship, that probably means it's going slow and headed for the west coast. So I'm willing to go full Wolfpack on this. So we've already got 3 submarines in the western line. These 2 are going to go ahead and converge into this line. And by the way, none of these 5 submarines are detected. So I'm hoping that with no detection levels on any of my subs, and I have, you know, a pretty solid detection on this task force, the numbers that get plugged into the game engine are going to be on my side, and we'll get some hits here. So, here's hoping. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out the turn. We'll see you for the combat replay. Thanks for watching. And we're back. Combat replay in progress for December 25th. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope my opponent got me something nice. Alright, lots of activity going on around Pearl right now. Yeah, we're not gonna get him. Can't get deep enough. landing at Kandari, not a whole lot of resistance. Well, Nels out of Bangkok just tried to get a strike, but couldn't find it due to weather. So I was kind of hoping to catch an enemy cap here at Port Moresby since I've been attacking it. Sadly, they did not take the bait. Hopefully this sweep will be a little bit more successful since they have plenty of airplanes to play. So that was pretty great. That was 6 demons and 4 buffaloes by my count with no losses. So that was all the demons that they sent up at us and half the buffaloes. So they probably don't have a whole lot left to send up next time. Always good to get one of their last remaining fighters. It's decent airbase damage. I wish we could damage Clark that heavily. At least we damaged some aircraft. Yeah, so 56 aircraft with a single hit. Pathetic. Not so great results over here either, just 6 squads disabled. Nothing accomplished there. So 20 aircraft get a squad disabled up here. I expect the results to be pretty poor over here because of the mountains. Weather isn't helping. Someday those will be Oscars or Tojos instead of Nates, and we'll shoot those bombers down. But not today. Another weather-scrubbed mission out of Bangkok. Or is it scrubbed? Well, it's only 7 nels, so maybe the overwhelming majority of the strike package could not find the target. Yeah, 18 nels unable to locate target. So this is going to be a shame. This looks like a relatively weak cap because we're 3 hexes away from Rangoon. So we should be able to punch through. But once we do, we're not really going to have enough aircraft to do a whole lot of damage. Alright, so 5 out of 7 aircraft through. No hits. So we ended up losing a 0 and 3 nels, 2 to the fighters and 1 to flak, while shooting down 1 P-40 and 1 Buffalo. I mean, at least the numbers aren't that lopsided. Damn, can't hit these guys either. Maybe our ants can get lucky. Not very effective. Did we even shoot any flak at them? Hey, the Mauritius is still alive. Well, it was already pretty severely damaged and just took 3 more armor-penetrating bomb hits. That ship has got to be in bad shape. So hopefully that ship sinking just now was the Mauritius. And now our submarines are doing what our Nels could not. Heavy fires, heavy damage with fuel burning. That's not survivable. And there it goes. Let's see if we can break through the road to Cyan. Looks like just 1 unit retreated. So, almost there. Alright, so we've got pretty strong presence here west of Chusien. Let's see if we can break them. No. So, fortunately, even though we're pretty badly outnumbered here, you can see pretty similar numbers in terms of combat squads disabled and destroyed. So this is not as bad as it could have been, but still indicative that we're not going to overrun these guys. Not at least unless we can reunite them or combine them with the forces already at Chusien. So speaking of which, so even with 3-to-1 odds, we don't really have anything that great happening here. And I think it's because this enemy unit doesn't have any retreats available. So we do have an advantage in terms of disabled and destroyed combat squads, but if, you know, as we're seeing in that dot base over in Luzon, if they don't have the option to retreat and they try to fight to the death, it's a real tough fight. So I'd rather let these guys go. Alright, so this should be an easy win. And they all retreat. And of course they retreat onto another road. Hopefully these guys are just about ready to surrender.
Hello, you fighting orphans of the Pacific. This is your favorite enemy, Orphan Anne, at Radio Tokyo, with music to lift your spirits and words to depress your morale. But first, Imperial General Headquarters announced today that the ever-victorious forces of the Japanese Empire have captured Guam.
So, didn't get much of a fight there. Wasn't expecting one, though. That's why I did Wake first. Just walking right into Tavoy. I guess that's my Christmas present. Thank you. That was very kind of you. More resistance than expected here. We've got what counts as a full division in the Philippines. AV's kind of even. Yeah, casualties in the enemy's favor here. So, looking over the results of the turn, starting with air losses, we had fairly even results in the air. We had a slight advantage, and that mostly came from having a number of air-to-air kills over Surabaya. Our losses primarily came from our operation around Rangoon. Fairly safe to say that's where we lost all these zeros, although I guess it's possible that some of these were from Surabaya. We didn't have any outright air-to-air kills against us, but operational losses could be either. Then you can see with the enemy, plenty of demons and buffalo biting the dust today. 13 enemy aircraft lost over Surabaya alone. One nice thing about doing the sweep over Surabaya, we finally have our first ace. Congratulations, Petty Officer 2nd Class O'Hara. Don't actually know that's what PO2 means in the Japanese Navy in this time period, but that's what I'm going with. So looking at the theaters, starting with China, most important events going on right now are in Chusien. Two battles in which casualties were pretty even, but it's apparent that if we're going to defeat the enemy armies, we need to concentrate our forces better than they are. At the moment, we do have the advantage of these guys, but they're basically fighting to the death, it looks like. Actually, no, they have a retreat available to the other hex. So I'm not sure why they didn't retreat when they had a 3-to-1 odds overrun. Huh. Although in any case, the status quo isn't working for me, so I'm going to need to shake something up. So I guess I'll continue with that in this setup. And then, of course, up here, we've started to punch through, but not quite yet. We need to keep attacking before we can advance again. Rangoon, we had our air versus surface battle a few hexes off, cost us some airplanes. We did manage to torpedo one of these ships from a submarine, so at least we had that going for us. Captured Tavoy. Cleared the rail line from Kotabaru to Temelo, so that's potentially important. I guess maybe not that important, because railing this way isn't that much more advantageous than just backtracking a little and coming this way. At Java, we had our sweep of Surabaya, which was quite successful. So successful that I think it'll be perfectly fine to do our full strength port attack next turn. Landed at Kandari. Looks like there's really no resistance there at all, so that should be an easy one. Possibly a cruiser lurking around. I wonder what that really is, because I don't think a cruiser would be alone. Port Moresby, as many as 4 ships in dock, including a transport. Although actual numbers of enemy forces protecting Port Moresby look pretty low. 9,000 troops with 44 guns is going to be mostly support units, and they will not hold out against a division, especially with air support that's going to be able to pummel them, and battleships that can bombard them, and reinforcements available in the form of Marines if I really need them. So got lots of sub versus destroyer situations going on around Hawaii, although it looks like the actual convoy that I was interested in managed to get through, even though I attempted to wolfpack them. Just how it goes sometimes. Alright, well, I'm going to leave it there. Next up will be the setup for December 26th. Thanks for watching.